So in real estate wholesaling, there's two different sides to the business. You got your acquisitions and then you got your disposition side. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive and look at the difference and the pros and cons associated with each side of the business. Your acquisitions, acquiring the property, dispositions, selling the property. I'll also give you, my personal recommendation on what you should do personally for your own business. So first thing you guys need to know, when it comes to the pros, when you acquire the property, you're the person who will get the property under the contract with the seller. So you know exactly what the terms are. You know what the logistics are. You control the seller of the property. That's a pro, right? Now you hear a lot of people when it comes to dispositions, you hear people say, focus on, the getting the deal, and then the buyers will come, the disposition side. However, I'm here to tell you that that's not completely true. I was one of the people that bought into the idea of focusing on the deal first, but that's not true. So you focusing on dispositions is equally as important as the acquisition side. And one pro of the disposition side, you being on that side, is you get the deal sold. You actually are the person who brings the money back home and get the deal sold. It is important to get the deal, but it's also important to get the deal sold. Take it from me. I told you, I definitely thought that it was, find the deal and the buyers would just pop up out of nowhere, but that was not the case all the time. I actually found that it's more important to find the perfect buyer for the deal, especially when you have deals outside of your normal price range, okay? So right now you find the deal, which means you control the price, you control everything with the seller. That's pro for acquisitions. And then dispositions, the pro is you actually bring the money back home, you get the deal sold, okay? Now, another pro for your acquisition side is going to be the fact that you build rapport with the seller. So this rapport that you're building with the seller, this builds trust. So this trust that you're building with the seller lets nobody, come around you, right? So can't nobody just come around you and, take you out of your deal because you're building rapport with the seller. On the flip side, with your disposition side, you're building rapport with the buyers. So what this means is if you send a buyer a deal, they're going to be, more prone to respond and actually look at your deal. If you're somebody who's sending them great deals and your focus is dispositions, then they're going to look at your deal, put their, time, energy, because you're the person that's always sending them great deals. So that's the pro. You're building that rapport with your buyers on the flip side of things, and, you're building your rapport with the seller. So right now, we're 2-2. They're basically even, but let's get into a con. Let's throw some cons out there, right? So the con of just being the acquisition side is that you do not ultimately have control of how the property or when the property is being sold. You being the acquisition side, it takes a lot of trust for you to trust that the person that you're dependent on, your disposition side, to sell the property, that they actually get the job done. Because at the end of the day, your name is on the contract, your company name, your brand, your reputation, all of that is on the line when it comes to you putting your name, under contract, putting the property under contract under your name. So that is a con. And when you're, like I said, depending on the dispositions, you don't know ultimately what's really going on. You only know what they tell you. So on the flip side of things, with the disposition side, one con is going to be that you really don't know, you don't really have control, of who this person, being the acquisitions, sell the deal to, right? So if you don't have a good relationship, you don't trust this new person. Maybe you just found them in a Facebook group. Stop posting your deals in Facebook groups. But maybe you found them in a Facebook group. So this person in the Facebook group, just a new person, they told you about the deal that they had. They told you about the price that they got it at. But ultimately, they can just sell it to somebody else. So say you get out, you work the deal, you find the buyer, you do everything you need to do to get the property sold, right? You even get a buyer to the property to make a walkthrough at the property. Next thing you know, they just decided to go in a different direction, either because they had somebody else find it, a buyer, or maybe they found a buyer themselves. So that is something that you face. Those are cons on both sides. It really, if you look at the bottom baseline of it, if you really look into it, it deals with trust. So you have to trust the other person, which, it could be a con if you don't know this person, because when I say con, I mean the peace of mind. If you have to trust somebody you don't know to, put food on your table, that doesn't give you peace of mind. So really the big thing here is trust. So you can mitigate, honestly, any con that I'm going to say in this video, you can mitigate it with trust, okay? All right, now another thing I got for you guys for a con-wise, when it comes to the acquisition side, like I said, your company name is on the line, your reputation is on the line, but also you're on the acquisition side of things. I do believe that you should try to venture out to sell the property yourself, because I believe on the acquisition side of things, it's very easy for you to become complacent. I do believe complacency is a con if you're just going to stick with the acquisition side of things. And let me tell you why. The reason why complacency could be a con or a problem or issue when it comes to you just sticking with acquisitions is because you could become complacent to the fact that you can send your property to somebody else and they can sell the property for you, which means that you just think that you get the property under contract and you just send it to somebody else, they get pictures and they get the property sold for you. So I understand that, that is a great situation to be in, but at the same time, I say that it's a con because you may then, just depend too much on one person. And then what happens if that one person doesn't do business with you for some reason, whatever reason it may be? So the bottom line is how you mitigate that is actually keeping your tools sharpened. So I would actually strongly urge you to watch the I closed my first deal using a fake buyer video. So if you want to just have some buyers in your back pocket, watch that video. That way you can still focus on getting the deals under contract, but you can benefit from the disposition side of people that you work with by basically going to make connections with their buyers. And that's something if you want to just get a peace of mind. Now, on the disposition side of things, I do believe that the con would be kind of, and not really, but basically kind of what I just said. So basically, the person on the acquisition side of things, they could just work with you for one time and then, get the property sold and then double back around and then take your buyer. And then you are, they take your buyer from the standpoint of getting you out the way because you're the middleman. In their eyes, is going to be acquisitions right to the end buyer. Forget the dispositions guy. So they'll get you out the way and they're going right to your end buyer, and then you just become a one and done. So that is a possibility there. Now, I'm going to give you guys, right now we got, 2 pros, 2 cons on each side. Now I'm going to give you guys my personal opinion on which side I believe is best. Okay. Now, personally, I do believe that it's better to be on the acquisition side of things. And let me explain why. To me, the acquisition side of things, it's like you're the plug. You're ultimately the one who controls the deal. You got the actual deal under contract, and if you do the acquisitions focus the right way, you already have, buyers in your back pocket from the standpoint of people that you can connect with, talk to, just in case your dispositions guy does not get the property sold. I do believe that you should go 50-50 with your dispositions person. I believe that that's very important because if you're not going to do it yourself, then you do not get paid if they don't sell the deal. So I do believe that it's equally as important. One other reason, like I said, the acquisition side to me is more beneficial. You should put your focus more there, is because it really is a skill getting great at getting properties under contract. And as much as I say that I don't entirely believe or the idea that, get the property, get a great property, then buyers will come. I do believe that once you have some buyers and you're good at getting great properties, then you're going to be able to, really transition into the disposition side of things easily, just because your buyers, they're going to be like, oh man, he's sending me a deal. It's a great deal. He's sending it to me. So that way, even if you have a dispositions guy, if you got to go in your back pocket, send it to your buyers, you already built the connection there, and you have already, established and made a good name for yourself for having great deals. So definitely believe that acquisitions is more important, but dispositions, I definitely believe that it's very valuable to have this side as well. Now, as far as putting all your focus on one side though, again, I still believe acquisitions, but oftentimes people put their focus on the disposition side of things because the house is no longer the commodity. I want you to understand this too, guys. If you're focused on the disposition side of things, you're no longer focused on getting to A. The actual seller of the property is no longer your clientele anymore. It's actually going to be wholesalers who have a struggle of selling their properties. So if you're focused mainly on disposition, you're going to be marketing to wholesalers who are having trouble selling their property because you have all these buyers. So you're going to be telling them like, hey, look, I have these buyers, whatever you tell them. But my personal advice is keep it 100 with them. Let them know that you're actually going to wholesale the property Don't try to do the whole, I'm buying it, but then I have somebody in my network. If they are savvy investors like everybody, I don't put anything past anybody in this real estate investing space. If they're savvy investors, then they will be able to read through the lines and see that you're, trying to just get one over on them. So just keep it 100 with them. Let them know, like, hey, man, I got a business operating. I have several strong relationships. Let them know that this business is all about relationships. You may not have as many relationships with me on the buyers end of things, but my buyers have a great relationship with me. Tell them sometimes they send me over properties that they need me to get. That's how great a relationship we have. That way you just build and pack upon that relationship, and then you are making the wholesalers your clientele. So that is a great business model, because obviously there are a lot of wholesalers, but then, some of the hiccups is these wholesalers, do they actually have great deals though? Are these wholesalers trustworthy? Are they not just going to go and take your buyer and then, just leave or whatever? Granted, if you have an abundance mindset, you really can get rid of all of those type of thoughts that you might have as far as cons. Okay, now the last thing I want to kind of touch on with you guys, when it comes to the dispositions versus the acquisitions side of things, again, you can also merge them together. So this is what I did in my second year. In my second year of full-time real estate investing, I merged it together. In my first year, I was mainly acquisitions. About 90% of my deals were closed with somebody else, disposition side. But the second year, I actually put the pieces together. A lot of it through my fake buyers technique, which again, you should watch that video. Maybe click the link up there on the link in the description. It'll be somewhere. But doing those deals through my second year, it actually made me have a lot more appreciation for the disposition side of things, because I ended up doing a lot more work. I made more money, but I don't believe it fully equated to the more work that I put in, as far as the amount of more money that I made. So I do believe that it's great to have somebody on the disposition side of things. This year, in my third year of full-time real estate investing, a couple of months ago, I decided to go ahead and get back with the model of me focusing on my acquisitions, and then, and I have somebody that I actually trust. That it makes it a lot different when you have somebody that you trust handle the disposition side of things. So that being said, for me, it's been great because I've been able to focus more on my acquisition side of things, and deals have just been flowing easily and effortlessly. So I do believe that when you narrow that focus down, you can actually get more out of it. Actually, I know it's true. It's like no different with the analogy with the light, right? Like with the sun. The sun has a lot of energy. However, if you stand in the sun, you typically don't get burned. Instead of you stand out there for hours, or if you're in Arizona and you stand out there at 12:30 p.m. But you typically don't get burned, right? However, if you got a laser, if you focus all that light and energy through one small laser, it'll go right through this camera, and it'll go right through your face and right through your skin, and you will feel it, right? Only because it's all of that energy focused in one place. So I do believe that you have a benefit if you were to split your time and go ahead and focus on either acquisitions or dispositions with someone else doing the other side that you actually trust. You will have such a peace of mind, and you will also become more clear on what you have to do day in and day out, versus having to get a property under contract, then focus on getting a property sold. It's really two different sides of the business. I hope you guys got that pointed through this. Faithfully, you did get my point that, this is really two different sides of the business. Dispositions, they're going to handle taking pictures, videos. It depends on how you guys got it set up, and they'll get the property sold. Acquisitions, you're on the phone, you're dialing, you're calling, you're getting the property under contract. Like, that's two different sides of the business, but they're both equally as important. So go 50-50 or go 100% into yourself. Whatever you do, keep your heart in each step, because that's what makes you a success. Get to stepping.